Cool. Well, obviously you can't go into a lot of specifics.
I know.
And I'm sure you're anxious to tell everybody.
I really am.
But tell us just overall kind of your thoughts on the experience, because it seems like fighters either love it or they hate it.
That's so true.
How was your experience?
So the overall experience of the Tough, it is a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it's a blessing to be able to do such a thing. Hence, I can't give away too much information, but what I can tell you is that there's some hell of a fights that will be taking place this season. So I'm really excited about that. As well as being on a reality show comes a lot of drama. So with that comes not only the physical aspect of it, but also the emotional side. So it's going to be interesting to see how everything pans out on actually national TV. But for the most part, I don't think that anyone would be disappointed this season. This is the last season, however, so I think we actually finished on a good bang. So again, I'm anticipating just to see how they actually did all the editing. Maybe they'll show some things that maybe are hints behind the scenes. So we'll see.
Talk about your decision to go on The Ultimate Fighter. I mean, I would consider you more of a veteran than just a prospect. So did it feel like a step back or a step down? Why did you want to do this?
Not at all. In fact, I think this was a very good opportunity for more exposure. Hence, I've been I'm going on 10 years being in the MMA industry. And I think this is probably a better way to be able to be introduced to the UFC versus going straight in. Not only do people get to know me, but like me and also trust me. So I do see that this is a very good advantage by doing the Tough versus just getting into the UFC. So I would say for people, if they were to do this again, I would highly recommend that they would take this route instead. I don't see it as a quote-unquote demotion. In fact, I think that you would be foolish not to do it, in other words. So, I guess we'll just see how everything pans out.
Nice. Well, you kind of touched on, there's talk about the future of the show, and Dana said he thinks it'll continue, but they haven't really decided yet. But,
right.
So do you feel like there's still value in it? To the fighters, because I think sometimes fans go, well, do we still want to watch this show?
Right.
But to the fighters, it still means something, right?
It really does. And in fact, before we left the gym, Dana sat us all down and said that, this is the #1 reality show on Fox Sports 1, and it brings in almost over a million viewers the first episode. So people may think that Tough has actually died down, but in fact it still has a very good momentum. So having a lot of the viewers watching the show and being able to pick up a lot of fans that maybe didn't know you prior to the show is why it's such a good reason to have good exposure by being on the show. So.
Talk about the quality of the featherweights. People will say that it's the thinnest division, or
it is the thinnest division. I think the most frustrating part going in is seeing a lot of the women that didn't make the show, and a lot of the criticism that you'll hear that we're not true featherweights. When in fact it's going into the Tough. There hasn't been one season that you have seen that they're truly at their weight class. So yes, there are bantamweights, including me being one of them. But in fact, I could do either or, essentially. And in fact, I was probably one of the bigger girls coming into the house being a bantamweight. So it did have its advantage by me being a bantamweight because I didn't have much weight to cut, but it was still a great opportunity. And in fact, I think it worked in my favor because I didn't have much weight to cut. But if you're to ask me, which division would you prefer, in all honesty, it wouldn't matter to me. If they had a fight at 145, I'll take it. If it's at 135, I'll take that as well.
Nice. You got to see the heavyweights. How did they do?
That's frustrating. Living in a house with a bunch of men that can just eat whatever the fuck they want was completely frustrating. So a lot of the women, they're eating really strict and having to stay on track, and just seeing these guys frying chicken and eating just a bunch of garbage. But it's having 15 different personalities living underneath one roof. It's crazy. It really is. And I have to be honest with you, I'd be lying if I said it did not affect me emotionally, for the simple fact you have all these people coming across the world living underneath one roof. You're bound to get some sort of drama. So
yeah. But last thing for me, obviously you can't say anything about the details, and you don't know how they're going to edit it. But if you were pitching this to fans who said, I don't watch The Ultimate Fighter anymore, I'm tired of The Ultimate Fighter, why would you tell them, hey, to watch this one?
I would highly recommend. I'm telling you right now, me being one of them, I'm not much of I don't stir drama, but somehow I ended up in the drama. So it's going to be interesting to see that. And when you mix alcohol into the equation, not myself, but for other people, and you don't have a choice, and it's a temptation, and it's right in front of you, things happen. So people don't necessarily become themselves when they start to drink. So having that mixed with a bunch of good fights, I would highly recommend. You'd be foolish not to tune in. So.
Cool. Good. Awesome.
All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Well
Thank
done.
you.